Stop the Bomb, a Diane Sawyer primetime event tonight.
Welcome back to Politics Live. I'm Alina Cho. 4 Arab Americans have served in the U.S. Senate and 6 now serve in the House. But no Muslim has ever been elected to Congress. Maad Abu-Ghazalah is looking to change that. The Nablus-born Muslim is challenging Representative Tom Lantos, Congress's only Holocaust survivor and one of its staunchest pro-Israel voices. They are vying for California's Bay Area district seat. Mr. Abu-Ghazalah joins us now from San Francisco. And Mr. Abu-Ghazalah, thank you so much for joining us. You are against the war in Iraq, are you not?
I was from the very beginning. I didn't think we really gave diplomacy its full course, its full due. So I was against going in the first place at the timing that we did, and I'm for providing democracy for the Iraqis and bringing the troops home as soon as possible.
As we mentioned in our lead-in to you, you could become the first Muslim elected to Congress. And I read here that you once put up a billboard describing Attorney General John Ashcroft as the ethnic profiler with the catchline, "Suspicious-looking immigrants, beware." I suspect you are against the Patriot Act.
That's one of the key items on my platform, the Patriot Act and bringing the troops home. And that was actually one of the reasons that I was running, is that I'm running for this office, is that I think this country really has to make a decision of what kind of country it wants to be. Does it want to be an empire? Does it want to be a country that treats people based on their ethnicity and their race rather than what they've done? So this is one of the key elements of my campaign, is to give people the choice of what direction they want this country to go to.
And is it also a bit about perhaps battling stereotypes and also your thoughts on the treatment of Arab Americans post 9/11? Has it gotten any better?
Well, it's definitely about the treatment of ethnic minorities in general. It's not just Arab Americans. There were people of Sikh origin that were also discriminated against as part of this backlash for 9/11. I mean, 9/11 was a painful event that affected everybody, but there needs to be an appropriate response to it. And simply casting aspersions on an entire race of people who have nothing to do with 9/11, I don't think is going to be productive for anyone. I mean, that's one of the main reasons I actually immigrated to this country in 1979, and that was probably the main reason I came to this country, is I wanted to come to a country where every human being, every individual was treated based on who they personally were and what they individually did, rather than what group they belonged to. And now I see that people are being treated in this country not because of what they did, but what some people that may have had the same ethnicity to them did, and I just don't think that's appropriate or that's very American.
At a county fair, I understand one woman told you to go back to Palestine. How have people reacted to your candidacy overall?
Oh, by far the most common response is a positive one. I think originally it was kind of an interesting item. As you mentioned, no Muslim has ever been in Congress, United States Congress. So that was the big story, was this is just such an interesting story that somebody's running. But I think as the campaign went on in the last election, and it's already starting up that way, I think more and more people are more focused on the issues that I'm presenting. Our positions in foreign policy and domestic policy, and less on my ethnicity and my religion, which is the way I'd like it to be. I'd like to be judged on the positions that I hold.
Do you see yourself as a torchbearer for Muslim Americans?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
As a
what?
torchbearer for Muslim Americans?
A torchbearer? I think it's a bigger picture than just Muslim Americans. I mean, I'd like to think that I represent a good majority of Americans who don't like the direction this country could be heading, it appears to be heading, which is a direction that seems to be on the arrogant side. And they'd like to see America more humble in foreign policy and less discriminating against ethnic minorities and disenfranchised people domestically. And so I'd like to see it more than just being a torchbearer for Muslims.
Right, and finally, how important do you think the Muslim American vote will be in the general election next year?
Well, I think because of what's happened, the backlash that's happened to Muslim Americans, they've responded by getting more and more engaged in politics. I believe there's somewhere around 6 million Muslims nationwide, and they are getting much more organized politically. So I think they're going to have a definite impact. And they're also, they tend to be in very key states like California, New York, Illinois, some very key states in the election.
We wish you luck in the primary. Maad Abu-Ghazalah, Democrat from California's Bay Area, we thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Two key endorsements today for two Democratic presidential candidates. Congressman Charlie Rangel is throwing his support behind Wesley Clark. At an endorsement rally in Harlem, Rangel called the retired general the candidate who can beat the president. Rangel, who has already publicly backed Clark, also introduced him at a campaign dinner last night that raised more than $1 million for Clark's campaign. During the fundraiser, Clark accused the Bush administration of pulling a bait and switch after the 9/11 attacks by waging war against Iraq instead of focusing on capturing Osama bin Laden. And Democratic presidential candidate Dick Gephardt has picked up a key endorsement. The Missouri congressman has gotten the backing of Representative Jim Clyburn, one of the most influential figures in the key primary state of South Carolina. Clyburn is a leading member of the Congressional Black Caucus and was courted by all 9 of the Democratic presidential hopefuls. And candidate John Kerry has outlined his plans for cleaning up the mutual fund industry. He was talking business today. The Massachusetts senator was in his home state speaking to students at Northeastern University. Kerry said the same tools prosecutors use to take down mobsters should be used to fight a new age of organized crime.